Hello, my beautiful people. It is episode 10. I don't know if that means anything, but it's a cool number. I never know if I'm looking at the camera. It's so bad. I hope so. If not, because I'm often just like, you know, I'm cool with my rambling, but I want to connect, because this is an intense thing. All right, speaking of intense, today is my completely not intense, ludicrous ideas of where brain cancer comes from. I'm going to read, this is from the Mayo Clinic. It says, it's not clear what causes the DNA changes that lead to brain tumors. For many people with brain tumors, the cause is never known. Sometimes parents pass DNA changes to their children, and the changes can increase the risk of having a brain tumor. That's definitely not what happened here. So I was forced to just come up with all these totally nutty ideas because my oncologists don't, nobody knows how this, well, like if you live next to a goddamn, Homer Simpson plant, that's going to do it probably, but you'll probably get all kinds of horrible cancers. Anyway, what else did I want to, oh yeah. I put a link to, when I got out of the hospital, of course I started Googling like, well, now what? And I didn't even know if it was cancerous at that point. I had a feeling, but all I'd seen is the massive thing that they'd removed, and they did a great job. So I'm like, okay, so now what happens? I didn't know a thing about brain cancer, let alone cancer in general. So this video is like, it was so helpful and calming and informative, and just like, again, I really hope you never know anyone with this, but this guy is just, he has a thing about just general cancer, but he's a super expert in GBM, my glioblastoma, multiform type of cancer. He also reminded me of myself as a kid, like a nerdy kid, when I still had the chance to like be a fucking actual contributor to society at a high level. So that was really comforting too. But anyway, I highly recommend, if you're curious about this, to watch that. I mean, everybody Googles, and I like don't, because it's just so dark. And I joined some Facebook support groups and some other, like in Reddit and stuff, and that's been really lovely. But it's also really hard because some people's stories are so much worse, and oh god, I don't even want to share it because it's just, cancer sucks, obviously. Okay, so the list. I'm going to go from most ludicrous to least ludicrous, but I guarantee you these are all nonsense. Well, who knows, but they're probably nonsense. I've shared a couple just, I guess, jokingly with my oncologists, and they're like, no, probably not, being very polite. Okay. I'm from Florida. That's it. This had to be the reason. I'm from the swamps of the Everglades, Miami, on the edge of the Everglades. Also Florida, just Florida. It's just the worst. Those of you who are in Florida, who are like my high school friends or whoever, I love you, and I'm so sorry you're still there. But, and it's, as an eco dude, the Everglades is a gorgeous phenomenon. It's incredible. And Florida's full of absolutely beautiful geology, blah, 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 blah. And it's, if you like that weather, it's also kind of a great place. But we should never have habitated that place. Maybe some beautiful scientific research, whatever. Anyway, I've never been a fan. I've spent 18 years there, and I've been back a few times reluctantly, and I wouldn't say against my will, as you know, I'm not a free will believer. Anyway, second one. I played this mobile game, which I'm very fond of. I've played it for 8 years, and I'm going to combine these two ideas. It definitely took my close-up vision when I was 45. Because it's a little young for it to be as extreme as it was. It was like night and day. I played it at night, so I'm just blasting my eyes with bright light every night for a long time. And just one day I wake up and I'm like, I cannot, like, the range from here to here is just pure blur. And I had super vision my whole life, so it was like, fuck. I'm really not blaming the game for that, but it's anyway. I'm not gonna say the game because I love it. It's super addictive, and I would never recommend any mobile games, but this one especially is very addictive, especially if you're like into what I'm into pop culture wise. Anyway, I'm just gonna blame that as well because I sleep next to my fucking phone, right? And so I just got, most people think this is a nonsense idea, but it's a lot of years of sleeping next to a cell phone. Okay. next wacky idea. Oh, I clearly this happened because I wanted to become a superhero, and the only way to do that is to get some kind of animal in between a radiation treatment. A spider is my preference, obviously. I mean, who doesn't want to be Spider-Man? When I joked about this with my radiologist, they're like, "You sure you don't want to be the Hulk?" I'm like, yeah, no thanks. So I think they've heard it before. It was fun. Okay, next is oh, the no sex thing, right? It's been so long. That's very plausible. Obviously, have sex, everybody. Not consensual, pleasant sex, please. Cookies. I've eaten probably more cookies than all of you have ever seen and eaten combined in my lifetime. And so I deserve brain cancer, clearly. I don't know why Cookie Monster is still alive, but that dude must have some awesome genetics. Okay, cookies. Oh, this next one I'm gonna do, I don't know how you do this, like trigger warning, trigger, because it's nonsense, but it's interesting, and it's also highly dark, and it deals with suicide stuff. So please, if that's uncomfortable for you, just take a break or turn this off, go have a nice pleasant day. But back in 2007, I've been struggling with depression my entire life, from a shitty childhood. So 2007, I gave up, and I made very serious plans to end my life. And I was gonna get it done in 2008. And surprise, surprise, sitting across the table with my beautiful sister, this is the first time she saved my life. She talked me out of it. And that's a long story, and it's in the book. So please buy the book. But, oh, speaking of that, I have decided to share with you guys, because I do so little art sharing, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to share the first, I think it's 15 pages of the whole graphic novel. And, it's going to be the sketchy stuff, but very readable, and I'll read it. And I'm thinking about trying to get my actor friends to kind of act it out, not act out, but just do the voices, so it's not just me. Anyway, whatever happens, it really does set up what this graphic novel is about, and why there's a biographical element to it, to my Leopold Brink fictional thing. But that'll be really fun and satisfying for me. And maybe I'll do some finished art on some of the pages, or one of the pages. This is all a race, right? So I got to be careful with the timing. And I'm also trying to up my deadline for a readable draft to the end of the year instead of next July. Not just because I'm maybe dead, but because I want to do a book tour on this thing. I want to, I never established myself as a known cartoonist, and that'd be a really fucking cool thing to get done before I check out. So and also a goddamn world tour with the book is a blast. It checks off a lot of that bucket list travel plans. Okay, so the suicide thing, right. The thing about people with suicidal ideation is what we want the most is an easy, peaceful way of checking out. And that's close to impossible unless you know a very corrupt doctor. So you're constantly oh God, I wish I could just go to sleep tonight and not wake up. And it's, this is dark and sad. And if you struggle with this, please find support, because it's always something your mind is doing to you, and it's not healthy, and it's not good. And there's nothing wrong with well, whatever. That's Jesus. There's hotlines, there's people, there's stuff to do. It was sad and tragic that I was going through that, and that anyone goes through that. But once you do hit that state, it's hard to kind of get out of it. So I did want to live, but your will to live is never back to 100% unless you really work hard on it. Anyway. So my wacky theory was, holy shit, I manifested a built-in suicide machine, because anytime I want to die now, I just stop doing treatment. And I got probably a month or two maybe before the tumors say, thanks for the food, and I check out. So I don't recommend this as a method, but that's one of my totally nutty theories. I'm not the secret kind of person. I don't think manifesting is real in any way. I think thinking about what you want is probably a good idea for organizing yourself and your thoughts, but nonsense. Okay. Next, karma. I really wish karma was real, man, especially instant karma. Oh, God. But, you know, I've had pretty bad luck in my life, so I must have murdered so many puppies in my previous lives that, you know, that's what happened. Again, nonsense. But this is my list of nonsense theories. Okay, here's my least nonsensical one, but I think it's, again, not real. But it's a good one. And I have a lovely friend, hello David, who is essentially the leader of my soccer group on Sunday mornings. And he's such an incredible dude. He gave me this kind of a self-helpy new age book, and that's just definitely not my style. But I did check it out. I want to give it a shot. And so I read the first few pages. And it starts out essentially setting up this theory of mine. And, you know, that it doesn't really give it more veracity for me, but it was like, oh, it's weird. And so here's my like best wacky theory. I had a very traumatic youth, and this graphic novel I'm working on is essentially an autobiography. And so I had to carefully relive and reimagine and remember every possible thing I went through. And if I didn't remember it, like I had to reconstruct it and to craft the narrative, let alone the visuals that I'm going to put with it. And I did this for 3 years, and I spent almost the entirety of that 3 years constantly re-traumatizing myself. And I just would discuss with my sister where I'm feeling really like, you know, depression everything came back. It was really bad. And so I was like, holy shit, did I just cook my brain in stress hormones for so long that the you know, the glial cells that went cuckoo were because of that? And you know, it's not very Western medicine thinking, but I don't know. To me, so far, it's the best possible thing. Anyway, that's the list, right? Yeah. So let's oh yeah, I told you about. I'm going to show you the pages eventually, sooner than later. But let's just do some art, man. Okay, because it's been a while. So I'm going to just I don't know what I'm going to be showing. It's going to be stuff from that like my 70s life, probably. Hopefully it's some fun stuff. And let's put some music on instead of me blathering at you. I guess it's going a little long. That must have been at least one animation so far. You know what? If I do more animation, I'll just do the full screen animation and say goodbye to you guys now. I love you. Thank you so much for checking this out again. Hopefully that was funny or interesting. If you have any ideas, let alone realistic ideas, comment me, please. Please, please, please. I love the comments. It's so lovely for me. Again, I'm not trying to like, you know, make a living off YouTube or be famous or anything, but I am definitely, oh, here, let's do like a Leopold. I gotta remember to plug. I gotta, you know, I put this beautiful Supergirl shirt on ISSUE10, but the fact that I'm not constantly plugging Leopold and Brigg is so stupid of me. So I gotta make a shirt or something. But yes, yeah, the coffee. Leopold and Brigg. I love you. Talk to you next time. Have a good weekend.